Today we're in Saratoga Springs, and as indicated before, we're going to begin a series on the problems that face racing today. I'm here with John Roselli, and while we disagree on almost all of the issues, there is one thing that we do agree on. The overall question is, why is racing failing to attract enough new enthusiasts, and why are some people that have been dedicated to the game in the past losing interest with the way the game is played today? I'm going to let Roselli have his say, and then I'll be back to pose a few questions for Roselli and indicate where we're going to take this conversation in the future.
People get interested for the Derby when there's a charismatic horse, not charismatic, the horse, but a charismatic horse, but they don't seem to sustain the interest. You talk to your friends and you say that you're going out to the track, or that you own a horse, or that you know this trainer, and they get all excited and they have visions of Ascot, and they want to wear fancy hats and meet some guy on the backstretch who knows a good winner, will give you a tip. It's a very guys and dollsy image laid over this kind of Ascot English gentry image, which those moments are few and far between. You and I know that. But why isn't racing more popular? Why does racing have so many problems? Let's look at some answers there, or at least some approaches to this problem that aren't the same cliches that get recycled on the blogs and in the columns and letters. Let's try to take a fresher look at this. The big reason why racing isn't popular is, and we flatter ourselves here, it requires intelligence, or at least requires a lot of experience and a good memory. Handicapping races, understanding what's going on, takes a depth of knowledge. There's a learning curve. It's a big learning curve. That's why most of the people who are so involved in the sport are people who learned it at their parents' knees, were taken to the track, as I was, taken to the track from when I didn't reach even my father's knees. He was a horse owner, and that's how I got involved in the game, and that's how most of the people that I know, somewhere before they were 19 years old, somebody took them to a track and a light bulb went on. And they were willing to put in the work to learn the game, learn how to handicap, learn the history of the game, all these things that make it so fascinating, make it so substantive. But if you're interested only in American Idol, you're going to be too big a hurdle, for casual fans. That's where we get the interest in the guys and dolls and the day at Ascot aspect of it, of the game that most people focus on. So while we're breaking our arms, patting ourselves on the back here, let's also acknowledge that the game itself, it's stuck in a time warp. And it's like the music that you listen to and love the most all your life. It's the music you were listening to when you were 19. So for some of us, we're kind of stuck in the 60s. Racing is also stuck at the time of its greatest pizzazz and interest. And the game hasn't changed its approach to deal with how consumers of entertainment and gambling have changed. It hasn't changed to deal with all the other options that are out there in the world, not just for gambling, but for entertainment in general. And indeed, there's a significant number of people in the sport who say it shouldn't change, that too many traditions being tossed aside, the game will lose something essential. I think that's true to a large extent. The problems I see in the sport are problems that are of more recent genesis, and I want to go through a few of them with you and tell you what I think about them. Maybe I don't have exactly the same opinion that you're used to reading in the editorials, like I say.
John, before you go on and continue outlining the problems in racing as you see it, I'd like to interject with a couple of points here. One, I really don't think horse racing is any more complex than baseball or the financial markets, two industries that have done a far better job of marketing their wares to the general public. So I'm not really buying the too difficult to understand angle. Two, I think you've actually stumbled onto something with your guys and dolls, a day at Ascot angle. But where you see this as kind of being a negative, I see it as one of the few bright spots that racing retains. Writers such as Damon Runyon, William Murray, Jane Smiley, and more recently Laura Hildebrand have given the general public and the general sporting enthusiast a reason to revisit the racetrack. The real question is, when they do visit the racetrack, is the racing industry fulfilling the promise that these writers have so generously given the sport. And as a final point, I'd like to say that I don't think updating the racing game has anything to do with throwing away the wonderful qualities associated with racing's tradition. As I see it within the entertainment industry, there's two movements. One is a complete banalization of the experience, and that includes things like exploding scoreboards and the constant stimulus that you'll experience at many events. On the other hand, there's a movement from another not small group of people that are becoming very guarded and very jealous of the time that they spend, and it's more of a quality experience that they're after than a quantity of stimulus. I would cite the slow food movement as being at the forefront of this type of trend. So as we go forward, we're going to hear from Roselli again, and I hope you'll remain with us and be part of this conversation about racing.